This is Elizabeth, New Jersey, a tough town in the shadow of Manhattan. I'm on Reed Street, a spot where drugs are widely sold, mainly heroin and crack cocaine. Now, they've touched thousands of lives in Elizabeth, including one young man who grew up right here in this building. Luqman Abdullah was a talented high school track star and a very bright honor student until drugs took over his life. In 2003, authorities say Luqman Abdullah began establishing a drug empire here in Elizabeth. With foot soldiers pounding the pavement for him, authorities say Abdullah moved more than $1 million worth of crack a month. A member of the Bloods, cops say Abdullah had the product, the network, and the buyers.
He did most of his business face-to-face. We would discuss quantities, who was getting what, who needed to pay up, who owed certain money.
Knowing he needed to stay one step ahead of the cops, Abdullah constantly remained mobile, switching cars up to 5 times in a weekend to avoid being tailed.
Slow day, Willie?
Yeah, man. It's this economy. I'm telling you, it's gonna pick up, though, man. It always does.
Authorities say Abdullah ruled with an iron fist. And his base of operations was an apartment in Newark, New Jersey. Everyone who worked for Abdullah was accountable to him 24/7, 365.
I want you checking on Willie. Make sure everything's accounted for.
He's disciplined in his personal life. He doesn't smoke. He's not a drinker. He certainly doesn't use drugs.
If you need me, you know where I'll be.
And where you could often find Abdullah was inside an upscale restaurant directly across the street from New Jersey's Union County Courthouse.
Luqman was highly educated. He was adaptable. He was able to hold conversations with people from very different backgrounds.
I have to go up in front of Judge Ramsey in the morning. I heard he always goes for the max on sentencing.
But I heard that several of his decisions have been brought up on appeal. Is that right?
A drug dealer who likes to rub shoulders with lawyers and judges. Let me tell you, this Abdullah's a real tough guy to get a handle on. But here's somebody who spent a lot of time trying, Detective Vito Colasity. Vito, you grew up here, went to the same high school as Abdullah.
Yeah.
And when did this guy get on your radar?
He was on our police's radar since he was a kid dealing drugs in the corners.
But he was an honor student and a top athlete. Pretty interesting guy.
Yeah, he is. He's charismatic, he's adaptable, but he's also got a real violent streak.
How about that? On top of everything else, we had a violent streak. Now that's a real lethal combination.
Hey! Staying busy?
What do you mean, man? Working 24/7 for you.
Yeah, okay. So you think a guy who stays as busy as you be pulling in more money, huh?
You know me, man.
Thing is, I ain't gonna know you much longer.
Yo, why you doing this, man?
Because I can, Willie.
When cops tracked down Willie, Abdullah's thugs allegedly had just put 4 bullets in him.
Who did this to you, Willie? This a work-related injury?
Yeah, man, you think I can apply for workman's comp?
What are you gonna tell us? Let him rob.
Fine, all right. You want it, you got it.
I'm listening.
After Willie told the cops it was Abdullah who ordered the hit, Abdullah was taken into custody. That's when Willie suddenly developed a unique side effect to his gunshot wounds: amnesia.
Look, man, I know I said it was him that did it, but I made a mistake.
So now you're telling us that you have no idea who threw you in the trunk and shot you.
As a result, Abdullah pled guilty to a mere aggravated assault charge and served just 6 days in jail. In doing so, Abdullah's reputation on the street grew.
That particular event really skyrocketed him to a position of power because people sincerely feared him after that. During this investigation, one of his co-conspirators called him Mr. Not Guilty, and I think in his mind he must feel like that.
Abdullah's ability to work the system didn't sit well with Vito. So in 2008, Vito helped launch Operation Red Zone. Its sole purpose? Take down Abdullah and his crew. For months, Abdullah had no idea he was under relentless surveillance. Here he is, caught in the crosshairs of hidden police cameras. But Vito knew he needed more. He needed to get inside Abdullah's stash house so he could get the drug evidence that would finally bust Abdullah.
The problem with Abdullah is he never stays in one place. He's meeting people in different restaurants and shopping malls, in places that we can't plant a bug. So, we got authorization to do a sneak and peek inside his stash house. Second floor, 2F. We get the evidence on tape. We'll get a judge to give us permission to put a wire in there. Masterson, you and I are gonna make the entry. 3 teams on surveillance. Don't say I never get you anything. If we leave any footprints, Abdullah will think they're his.
We tried to use the same footwear that they were commonly wearing, Timberland boots with the soles.
On April 22nd, 2009, Vito and his team sprung into action. On the street, cops kept watch as Vito and another detective made entry into Abdullah's stash house.
We got in there by pretty much picking the lock. We couldn't have been a detective. We had to maintain the stash location as it was, as to not alert these guys. The whole kitchen was used as a drug lab to process and bag narcotics. There was powder all over the floor.
And these are the actual surveillance images taken that night by Vito and his partner.
There was utensils for the processing of drugs, scales, and we found actual product. We also found an AK-47 assault rifle.
I'm on my way there.
What are we gonna do about that? We'll leave it for now. He can't know we were here.
Is that him? Someone just entered the building.
His collar was up. I can't be certain if it was Abdullah or not.
Hey! I brought you a little something. Yeah? It's good to see you, man. You been good?
If Vito thought he and his partner had made a clean getaway, he'd soon find out otherwise.
Trey, you leave after me? Nah.
See how I locked up somebody was in here.
Who break in and leave 16 bricks at H?
It'll take some rocket scientists to figure this one out.
Vito, we're here at the actual stash house in Newark, New Jersey that Abdullah kept his drugs in. And this is where your sneak and peek went down. How the heck did he ever know you guys were in there?
We knew he was careful, but, I mean, we got information that he knew exactly how the lock was turned. And that's what alerted him. He knew he left it a certain way, and it was different when he got back.
Meticulous guy.
Yeah.
But now it's game on, because he knows you're on to him and the whole investigation could go down the tubes.
Exactly. We had to step it up. We knew what we had inside there, and we couldn't let that leave. So surveillance was on him. We were on his tail, and we were waiting for the opportunity to take him down.
So you saddled up?
Yes.
Well, when we come back, you'll see the plan Vito put into place to take Abdullah down. But nobody could foresee how crazy things would turn out. Now, before the break, we were telling you about an investigation in big trouble as it went after an accused drug kingpin from right here in Elizabeth, New Jersey. His name is Luqman Abdullah, a former high school track star and honor student. Cops had tried to secretly break into Abdullah's stash house to gather evidence against him. But as careful as they were to cover their tracks, Abdullah still knew they were on to him. Now the clock was ticking. Detective Vito Colasiti and the other cops working Operation Red Zone knew they had to move very fast or lose everything. They quickly got their break. This past April 23rd, just one day after Vito and his partner did their sneak and peek, cops pinpointed Abdullah's location, a restaurant at a shopping mall in Edison, New Jersey.
Get him and whoever he's with as soon as he comes out. Am I clear? We cannot lose him. I'm on my way.
Yo, the beaches, I seen the beaches, son. I seen them, son. They're real good. Oh.
He's extremely lucky. He's very fast. He's a track star and a football player, so he kind of had the home field advantage.
While Abdullah would get away, he'd leave behind a key clue. And this is the cell phone that Abdullah dropped. On it, cops found a whole lot of new photos of Abdullah, including several with his shirt off that exposed his tattoos. Cops were completely unaware of Abdullah's ink until they saw these pictures. You can see that he's basically sleeved on both arms from his wrist to his shoulders. Now, the cell phone gave cops some great clues, but Abdullah left something even bigger, his car. And once again, here's Detective Vito Colasiti, who's been working on this case. Tell us about what you found in this trunk.
Sure, John. Inside, we had all types of packaging material. Used to package drugs, Ziploc baggies. Again, these Timberland boots with the treads that me and Masterson used when we went to enter the stash house.
You love those Timberlands, huh?
Sure did. And also a set of fictitious plates. He came back not on file.
Bogus plate.
Yeah, something even bigger inside.
Let's check it out.
See that little vent lever?
Right here.
Yeah. If you push it in and to the right.
Okay, to the right.
And then back to the left.
Okay, to the left. Heard something.
Secret compartment.
Wow, right there. What's in that?
The trap was used to hold guns, drugs, cash, whatever he wanted to hide from the police.
Pretty ingenious guy.
Yeah, he is, but we have his car, we have his drugs, we have his guns, we have his cash. We just don't have him.
You know, Vito, I know you and your crew have worked long and hard on this guy, but I think somebody's going to have the guts to give us that tip tonight. Good hunting out there. Be safe.
Thank you.
Now, Lukman Abdullah's probably still around here somewhere, so let's help Detective Colasiti take this punk down. Check out the tons of clues we got on Abdullah at our website, amw.com. And if you've seen him or know where he is, leave your tip online or call us right away at 1-800-CRIME-TV. And I give you my word, I guarantee you can remain anonymous. Just have the guts to make that call and take this creep down.
Coming up. There's not usually much to say about commuter bus rides. But cops say one of the commuters in this video is a killer. You'll get the clues to make sure that the next stop is justice. And later, we're going after a dangerous thug who went from mixing and scratching.
Who kills it for you?
To running and gunning.
He's gonna do whatever he's gotta do to stay on the run.
Last week, we brought you the story of Little Summer Thompson, a 7-year-old girl who seemingly vanished while walking home from school in Orange Park, Florida. Cops led an all-out search, hoping to bring her home safely. 2 days later, Summer's body was found, buried beneath tons of trash in a Georgia landfill.
You take her away from everybody who loves her and everybody she loved and everything she loved, and then you throw her in the trash like she's nothing. Bad mistake. Really bad mistake.
Please don't take my sunshine away.
Summer's mother is determined to get justice for her daughter, and so are we.
America's Most Wanted.
Did he tell you his name?
What is the name of the suspect?
Investigators went over all of your tips last week, but are still looking for the one tip that will lead them to Summer's killer. We showed you 2 items that Summer was carrying when she disappeared: her book bag and lunchbox. Take a close look. They're still missing. If you know anything about Summer's murder, call our hotline right now at 1-800-CRIME-TV.
Now, we've taken the short journey across the river from New Jersey to Brooklyn to help track down another dangerous thug. But before we get to that, Tom Morris has a really tough story of how a routine bus ride took one young man to the end of the line.
If you're a young person trying to get ahead in life, Tempe, Arizona is a great place to be. It's home to more than 50,000 college students, plus a lot of hard-working young folks just starting out on their own, trying to make a living and pay their own bills. Kids like 19-year-old David Lopez.
David was always upbeat and fun to be around. I rarely saw him in a bad mood. He tried to find the positive in everything, and he wanted to just be happy. And if that meant what made him happy was not something that made him a lot of money, he was fine with that.
In the fall of 2008, David had his sights set on one particular goal: getting himself some wheels. He was saving his money from his paychecks as a store clerk here at Scottsdale's Fashion Square Mall.
Out here in Arizona, the temperatures can top 110 on a good day. Now, they say it's a dry heat, but trust me, waiting for the bus out here can burn you out before you even get to your air-conditioned job. That's how David Lopez got from his apartment in Tempe to his job here in Scottsdale every day. And believe me, he wanted a car badly.
That's what he was saving all of his money for. That's the one thing he was like determined to do, was to get a car.
On December 27, 2008, David left work and caught his regular number 72 bus home to Tempe at 5:29 p.m. Now, all of the Valley Metro buses have video surveillance systems, so we actually get to see David Lopez get on and take a seat. At 5:55, he gets off a block from his apartment complex. At 6:20, David's roommate Amanda was leaving for work when she saw David outside their building in the middle of a conversation with another man.
This guy he was with just wasn't really saying anything. And I'd never met him before, and I'd met all of his friends. Even if I didn't have a conversation with them, I'd seen them. So finally I was like, you know, David, who is this? Like, you gonna introduce me? And he's like, oh, this is my friend. I'm gonna go look at this car. He's gonna come with me to look at the car.
Knowing how quickly David could make friends, Amanda didn't think much of it at the time.
David is the type of person that could meet somebody at a bus stop and be like, hey, what's going on? Like, yeah, do you want to hang out? You can come back to my place. I only live down the street.
Less than 20 minutes later, a frantic call came into the switchboard here at Tempe 911 from David's apartment complex.
911, what is your emergency?
There is a person in front of my house who just got robbed and stabbed.
He's been robbed and stabbed?
Yeah, that's what he said.
David's neighbors, Arpita and Priyank Jamar, made the 911 call. The badly injured man they were talking about is David Lopez.
He has been stabbed very badly. He's bleeding heavily.
David is in bad shape. You can clearly hear his heartbreaking cries of agony on the tape.
I'm afraid. They need to hurry. They're coming. I'm gonna die.
As his life slips away, David courageously struggles to answer the dispatcher's questions.
Ask him, what was the male that stabbed him, black, white, or Hispanic? Hispanic.
He was talking to the neighbor, and then one of the officers on scene and indicated he didn't know the individual. He had given a brief description of the individual and tried to identify him by description. He gave us a starting point that night.
But that night would be David's last. He died at the hospital. When Detective Adams learned that his murder victim rode the bus, he pulled the surveillance video of David's ride home that evening. What that tape revealed quickly pushed his homicide investigation to another level. You saw David Lopez getting on the bus in Scottsdale near the mall a little over an hour before he was murdered. But cops say this is the young man David's roommate Amanda saw him talking to outside their apartment just a few minutes before he was stabbed. He boarded at the same stop with David, but sat on the opposite side of the bus.
David makes a call. Then, about 10 minutes later, he hands the phone to the suspect. The guy messes around with it for a minute, but he doesn't appear to talk on the phone. Then he gives the phone back to David. Actually, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of conversation between them during the bus ride, but you can see that they're clearly interacting on some level.
At 5:55 p.m., David Lopez and the young mystery man got off the bus together at the corner of Scottsdale and McKellips Road. Less than an hour later, David was stabbed to death, and his friend Amanda thinks she knows why it happened.
He had, I think it was either $1,800 or $2,000 saved up. And I know that he carried cash all the time. He always had this big stack, and I was telling him, David, don't carry that much cash. It's dangerous. You're gonna lose it. Something's gonna happen. Oh, no, I'm fine, I'm fine. So, and after everything happened, my whole apartment was searched, David was searched, and no money was found. Their conversation may have been nothing, and when David showed the cash, that may have been all of a sudden the split-second motive.
I don't think that this was something where, David provoked a fight or that there was an argument. And it's kind of a random crime, and was the money really worth it?
Take a good look. This is the clean-cut young man who police believe stabbed David Lopez to death on December 27, 2008. The suspect rode the number 72 bus with David from Scottsdale Fashion Square Mall to McKellips Road in Tempe. He wore this gray sweatshirt with a white stripe. Cops believe he's between 19 and 25 years old. If you think you know him, you need to call us right now at 1-800-CRIME-TV.
Now, I don't know how anybody could listen to David pleading for his life on that 911 call and not want his killer behind bars right now. This was a vicious murder, and this guy's next victim could just as easily be you or somebody you love. So let's find this maniac before he kills again. Please, give us the tip we need tonight. Now, when we come back, I'll be hooking up with a group of the nation's top manhunters. They need your help to hunt down their #1 target.
Coming up.
Hey, ladies!
Talk about big egos. This punk goes by the nickname God, and he thinks he has the power over life and death.
He has no regard for human life whatsoever.
Now that we're looking for him, he hasn't got a prayer. Get the clues to put him in his place. Next.
Now some fugitives who deserve their 15 seconds of shame. When a stupid fight over a cell phone led to a gun battle in Oakland, cops say Damon Ferreira shot 2 men to death. Ferreira's covered in tattoos like these. He may still be in California. After his relationship crashed and burned, James Hill torched his girlfriend's house. Then he stole a boat and faked his death. This handyman might be holed up somewhere in Florida or the Cayman Islands. Larry Deffenbaugh also faked his own death while at sea, but cops didn't take the bait. He owned a cemetery and is wanted for fraud after ripping off hundreds of grieving families. He might be in Florida or the Bahamas. In Georgia, Marcus Tillman ran off instead of facing a 40-year sentence for molesting 2 boys. He's worked as a substitute teacher and might be hiding at a campground using the name Pierce Jarvis. If you've seen any of these fugitives, you know what to do. Call our hotline at 1-800-CRIME-TV. These are some of the best manhunters around. The U.S. Marshals New York, New Jersey Task Force. These guys arrested nearly 7,400 of the worst fugitives in this region just last year alone. Now, I'm here with them in Brooklyn to help them hunt down a guy they really want bad, especially this manhunter, John Hayes, of the New Jersey State Police. Now, you really want to put the cuffs on this creep.
Absolutely, John. We've been hunting this guy for 3 years now. He's wanted out of Middlesex County, New Jersey for 4 counts of attempted murder.
Been out there a while, and it's become kind of an obsession for you.
Absolutely, so much so that I actually took a picture of him and put it on my cell phone.
There he is. Now, you got some big plans tonight.
Absolutely. We're here in the bedside section of Brooklyn. We're actually going to hit a couple bodegas where he's known to frequent.
Let's be safe and saddle up. Let's go.
Got it.
Now, as we head out, John Lieberman's going to fill you in on our target. He's a thug who thinks he's so untouchable that he's got the nerve to call himself God.
Hey, ladies! Who kills it for you? You don't understand that I am the man.
As an aspiring DJ, Prince Alvarado would spin tunes and throw around the money he made to wow the women.
Shake it, girl. You gotta dance to be up here with the prince, baby.
He wanted to be, you know, like the MTV DJ, like famous, going to all the parties and everything else. He wanted to be a celebrity is what he wanted to do.
But just as Alvarado would wear makeup to hide a massive birthmark on his face, there was a side to him he didn't want the ladies to see.
He's got 2 personalities is what we think. He's the charming, nice guy to the women he meets, maybe to some of his family members, and when you put a gun on his hand and you put him in the street, he's a different person.
And it's the egomaniacal side of Alvarado that has made these seasoned manhunters put him at the top of their list.
God is just a name that he's known out on the street by.
What does that tell you when a guy calls himself God?
He thinks that he's above all and, you know, basically that he is the man.
At every turn, God has thumbed his nose at cops, raising their ire and making them even more determined to go anywhere to nab him.
Prince is a formidable fugitive. We're putting together a puzzle on Prince. It's just a matter of time before we complete it.
The puzzle begins in 1999 when cops locked up Alvarado and his buddy, Bernard Champ Lopez, for robbing this convenience store. After he got out of prison, Alvarado went back to spinning records, back to hanging with his old crowd, and back to instilling great loyalty in his cadre of women and hip-hop industry friends. It didn't hurt that he liked to carry a handgun around for effect. Most of what happened on August 26, 2006 in Sayreville, New Jersey is caught on this restaurant surveillance tape. Alvarado and his best friend Champ are each caught on tape roughing up some women. When the women called in guys to come to their defense, Champ, feeling overmatched, called in Alvarado as his reinforcement. This is what cops say happened next. Alvarado unloaded a barrage of gunshots, striking 4 innocent victims.
You know, he has no regard for human life whatsoever.
The victims survived and ID'd Alvarado as the shooter and Champ his accomplice. When cops arrested Champ, he conveniently forgot Alvarado was his best friend.
He denied even knowing who Prince was.
So these guys had done time for a crime, this armed robbery back in '99, and he denied knowing him when you collared him?
Yeah. Right.
So that's what kind of guy we're dealing with here.
Sure. Absolutely.
That was reinforced when they busted Alvarado's girlfriend, Harmony, for hindering the investigation. Video on our website clearly shows Prince flaunting his freedom.
Tell the camera you're gonna marry me.
Yeah, I tell the camera the world. When he flaunts it like that and says, "Here I am, come get me," oh, it's a huge motivator.
I'm 26 now, suckers. A lot older, a lot smart.
It makes me sick. Sick to my stomach to be able to see that and to see that, you know, he's there flaunting, saying, "Here I am, how come you haven't caught me?"
I'm having a baby right now. You have to go, we're gonna go make a baby.
Cops also discovered writings on Harmony's website where she plays up the couple's antics.
She writes in here, I can't wait to spend the rest of our lives together. Baby, we are in this till the end, ride or die. Like you said, the new Bonnie and Clyde. Ha ha ha.
Cops say Harmony clearly helped Alvarado stay on the run, but when we found her, she played dumb.
Hi, Harmony. John Lieberman from America's Most Wanted. How are you?
Hi.
Looking for Prince Alvarado.
Oh, I don't know where he is.
You don't know where Prince is?
No.
Why did you help him stay on the run? He's a fugitive.
I wouldn't call it frustration. I'd say more motivation, because you know what? You know, every day that he's out there, that means I want to get him more and more every day.
We are currently in the Bed-Stuy section of Brooklyn.
Now, all the violence went down in Jersey. Why are we in Bed-Stuy?
Prince, as a child, grew up in Bed-Stuy, so he has family and friends here. And we're going to be heading over to a couple bodegas that we believe Prince used to go to.
Now, these bodegas, these little grocery stores, he feels safe to just walk into them and buy stuff?
Well, he knows people from this area, so he knows his friends aren't going to give him up.
Let's roll. Seen this guy? Anybody seen this guy right here?
This guy?
No? No? Okay, be safe out on the streets, will you?
We know he stopped in here, it's just people don't want to say anything.
You think you know?
No.
No?
We never saw him.
He's got this skin condition on his chin. If you see him, do the right thing. Okay. So they think he's floating around here. Name is Prince.
Have you ever seen him? Doesn't look familiar? I haven't seen him. Never seen him? Okay.
Be on the lookout.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you. People probably do know him in this neighborhood, and they know he carries a gun and he's dangerous. They might be afraid, but you know what, John? I think they're going to do the right thing and make that call.
I hope so. We need to get this dangerous guy off the streets.
Absolutely. Now, don't forget, Alvarado uses makeup sometimes to cover that skin condition on his chin. And he's got the word Prince tattooed on his bicep and the word God tattooed on his back. And I've said it so many times before. If you think you know where this guy is, have the guts to make that call. 1-800-CRIME-TV or go to our website, amw.com.
Coming up, helped take down a killer. Then, you answered his plea for help.
Nobody deserves to die the way he died.
America's Most Wanted.
See how you delivered next.
Back in the early days of this program, Dennis Ray Butler was our 128th capture. Now that's nearly 1,000 captures ago. And right now, you're about to meet the actor who played Butler in our reenactment. Years after he helped us catch a killer, he got back in touch with us, hoping we could solve a case that hit him very personally, very hard. Tonight, Angeline Hartman has the great news that our collaboration hit the mark one more time.
It's my friend Dennis.
How you doing, Tommy? I hear you're a good old boy from Mozart.
That's right.
This is Fred Dollar, portraying killer Dennis Ray Butler on our show back in 1990.
That's you?
That's me.
After helping us catch Butler, Fred left acting behind. But he never forgot how great it felt to get someone justice.
Dear Mr. Walsh, my name is Fred Dollar.
Nearly 20 years later, when a tragedy struck him close to home, he knew where to turn, so he wrote to us.
I knew physically beating her prostitutes, much just like what you would hear.
Keith died on his kitchen floor. Soon after, cops arrested. We agreed with Fred, so we worked to put him back on our show in March, this time to help get justice for his good friend.
America's Most Wanted. So you're calling about Keisha Marie Rutledge, and you said that you've seen the tattoo on her arm?
You gave us your tips from all over the country.
Most Wanted.
One viewer told cops she knew Rutledge personally and said that our fugitive was living in Texas using a different name.
Investigators believed the lead was good, but for months they couldn't pin down a location where Rutledge was hiding. Then late this summer, a new tip from Houston gave cops an address.
Wasting no time, the U.S. Marshals moved in at this high-end apartment complex. Inside number 1157, they found the woman the tipster was talking about. But Was it Rutledge? They couldn't be sure.
She couldn't identify herself. She gave a fake name. She even gave us a social security number that had too many numbers in it. She would flip-flop from date of birth. She didn't know what year she was born.
On top of that, the only photo they had of Rutledge wasn't worth much. But as it turned out, America's Most Wanted had given the marshals all the ammo they needed to find out if this woman was their fugitive. And knew they'd finally found Keisha Rutledge.
Did you know you were on America's Most Wanted?
Did you know?
Yeah, we did.
Hey, y'all. Everybody loves me. I love you, too.
She seemed to think this was all some sort of joke, but the charges she'll now face in court are as serious as they come. First-degree murder. We couldn't wait to share the news with Keith Brown's best friend, Fred Dollar, and Keith's wife.
I wanted to tell you guys the news personally, that Keisha Rutledge has been arrested.
What? Are you
Yeah.
serious?
She's been arrested.
Oh my gosh. Hugs.
I know, it's like, oh my God.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Thank you. You know, you get to the point where you want it to be over. You just want it to be over. You want that closure. You know, you want someone to say, okay, we're done. We've got everybody, they're all in jail, they're not a threat anymore. Because especially Keisha, she was very scary.
Another great capture and a job really well done. And Fred Dollar, good on you for having the guts to get involved and get some justice for a friend. It was really great solving another case with you. Jersey City, New Jersey detective Mark DiNardo was shot by a suspect during a police raid. The suspect was killed by other police officers. Detective DiNardo survived on life support for 5 days before succumbing to his injuries. Detective DiNardo served the Jersey City Police Department for 10 years, following in his father's footsteps. After working as a patrolman for 7 years, he was promoted to the Elite Emergency Services Unit. He loves spending time outdoors, scuba diving, skiing, and biking with his family. He's survived by his wife, Mary, and his 3 children, Gwendolyn, Mark, and Olivia.
Tonight, the manhunt is on for alleged drug kingpin Lukman Abdullah, accused arsonist James Hill, Larry Deffenbaugh, wanted for fraud, accused child molester Blaine Smith, convicted child molester Marcus Tillman, Prince Alvarado, wanted for attempted murder, and Damon Ferreira, wanted for murder.
You know, America's Most Wanted has really become the world's most wanted. And next week, we'll show you how our manhunt has truly gone global. I'll be in London and in Kiev in the Ukraine to catch some international fugitives. And of course, we got plenty of homegrown bad guys to hunt down. Criminals know no boundaries, but neither does our white-hot spotlight. Till I see you then, please stay safe, stay strong, and remember, you can make a difference.